Here we go, everybody. NBA Strategy Show, Tuesday, November 18th. I'm Josh Engleman, and I've got 6 games to talk to you about. But only 4 of them are on the DraftKings slate. All 6 of them are on the FanDuel slate. We'll touch them all, but very different slates. I mean, that is as different as it could possibly be. Very distinctly different. So, reward me by hitting the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. Well, I'm going to talk about this thing twice, basically. I think that's worth a like. So do all of that. And then click the link in the description to sign up at Stokastic. You guys should be doing that if you're watching this video, because you can come and get the Sims for a month for free. You just have to sign up through one of our partners, either a Sportsbook or a Pick'em site. All of the details of everything you have to do are outlined on the page that you will click on. You'll find something you like, and then you'll be here for a month. We're cranking out milli winners left and right. I think we've got like 4 of them in the past 2-3 months, so why wouldn't you want to be here? Anywho, let's talk the first game. Golden State, Orlando. Obviously, no Paolo Banchero for this one. No Jonathan Kuminga on the opposite side. Q-tag Jalen Suggs. Now we're getting about 25% ownership to Bane, to Carter, and to Suggs, and about 20 to Franz Wagner. You'll note all 4 of those names play for the Orlando Magic. The only Warrior getting anything resembling ownership is Steph Curry at about 10%. I think that's reasonable. Never a good spot against Orlando, not a really fast team, and a team that leans more defensive. So I get it. The spot's not ideal. Price tags on Golden State all seem very reasonable. As I look at it, if Suggs is in, I'd like to get a little bit more Franz Wagner. Negative leverage be damned in this scenario. I just think he's a different option, and I can almost guarantee that his baseline price is going to be higher than where it is right now if Paolo Banchero misses like 2 weeks. So I want that value right now, especially on this slate, especially at that position. And Bane looks totally fine at 7,300. You'd like to see him take a step forward with this team. Excuse me. With Paolo Banchero out. But if Suggs is out, that's where we start to see more value happen. Anthony Black goes from a $4,900 guy that's like, okay, to a priority. Someone like Jet Howard, who's been in the rotation lately, likely sees 20 minutes-ish or more. At that point in time, he becomes an interesting value on a 4-game slate. That really, you feel more confident about Tristan da Silva in that scenario as well. Suggs takes on usage, so you feel better about Franz and Bane and Wendell Carter Jr. to a degree. So we have an eye on Orlando right now, and they are the priority. When it comes to Golden State, I'm not going to get there. So if I happen to get there in multiple lineups, it's only Steph and Butler. FanDuel side, honestly, is telling basically the same story. Only Franz is a little bit more popular, and Wendell Carter Jr. is way less popular. And that's because center only, one center spot on FanDuel just changes the vibe. But like, you're looking at Suggs, you're looking at Franz, you're looking at Bane. Curry looks a little bit better on FanDuel at 8,700, just given the positional setup. Moses Moody becomes slightly more interesting, but it's mostly the same scenario. Not a lot of love to the Warriors outside of the stars. And if you're going to Orlando, what you get completely depends on if Jalen Suggs plays or not. Boston Celtics are 10-point favorites in Brooklyn, and it looks like we're going to have to get quite a bit of this game. 60% ownership right now coming into Michael Porter Jr. Now, massive negative leverage, but still, the takeaway here, 46% optimal. He's going to be very, very popular. That should not be surprising. This dude is heaving shots as of late, and he's a good shooter, so they usually go in. Different kind of spot against this Boston team, but not really, because this team is a team that's not the same thing as they normally are defensively. So I see no reason to not want to get a decent chunk of Michael Porter Jr. Derek White disproportionately owned as well at 7,200. He has not had the start of season he would probably want given this setup, but it's not like Boston hasn't been good. He's 40% owned, 35% optimal. He will be popular. And then we just get this sea of 10 to 20% owned guys. Claxton, Jaylen Brown, Peyton Pritchard, Tyrese Martin, Terrence Mann, the Igor Demon, Noah Clowney, Neemias Queta. Some of those things stand out a little bit more than the others. I think Claxton looks a little bit better. You'll feel more confident in Jaylen Brown. I like the Igor Demon at 4,200. When he can get the right minutes, he will do enough while he's out there. It's never going to feel fun because Brooklyn's just extra special bad. And then, depending on how you want to approach this slate, these teams are uniquely set up to get to like punt center 3K guys. Whether that's Luka Garza or Day'Ron Sharp or even Drake Powell if you didn't want to do it at a center spot. Because if you're trying to get to the tippy top on DraftKings, those are the concessions you have to make. And on a slate like this, one of these guys is going to end up playing like 4 or 5 minutes more than you expected and be the value play that you're looking for. Is it going to be one of those guys? Who knows? Now, FanDuel looks quite a bit different. It's MPGA, it's Derek White, it's Jaylen Brown, and that's it. Those three guys are all about 25% owned, some over-owned as well. So you might even see that come down. But we don't have that second tier of 10 to 20s. Everybody else is sub 10%. So if you're getting to anybody else in this game on FanDuel, you're going to be a little bit different. But remember, there's 2 more games on FanDuel. So it's not surprising that some of this stuff doesn't carry the same interest level. I'm going to touch on this Detroit-Atlanta game ever so briefly because we know nothing. Detroit is on a back-to-back. Cade didn't play last night. Asar Thompson didn't play last night. We have no idea who's going to be on the injury report, who's available, who's not available, etc. And depending on those combinations, it will unlock different things depending on who's in or out. There's nothing I could say right now that can give you that sort of detail. If Jalen Duren is in, he's going to be incredibly popular at 8K. He's pulling a lot of ownership right now. That's all I can say. It's the same scenario for Atlanta. Onyeka Okongwu is questionable. Kristaps Porzingis is questionable. Reece Shea is questionable. Depending on how that all breaks, everything looks different. That could be 2 centers out and a small forward out, and now you're playing Mo Gay and Asa Newell is a value option, and you're jamming Jalen Johnson even more. I can't break it down. So DraftKings, FanDuel, it's all the same scenario. We need all of that news. We need injury reports. We need updates. It's 11 o'clock in the morning. I can't add anything to that one, but it's coming. This one's going to be a doozy. Memphis and San Antonio. And this one's just kind of sad because we don't get Ja Morant. We don't get Victor Wembanyama. We don't get Dylan Harper. We don't get Stephon Castle. We just get a mess. And it's causing what you see on the screen right now. Vince Williams, 4K, small forward, power forward. Probably the starting point guard for today for the Grizzlies. He's 60% owned. He should be. They're missing a lot of dudes. It's not just Ja. They're missing 3 other guards. There's no Small, no Jerome, no somebody else not that I can't think of off the top of my head. Scottie Pippen Jr. I knew I'd get there. So that's happening. As I mentioned, no Victor Wembanyama, none of the 2 young guards. De'Aaron Fox is 8,300 and 50% owned. I'm sure you're not surprised to hear that. He's going to take every single shot he wants. Julian Champagnie is just going to play real minutes. He's got an MPE across both main positions, guard and forward. He's 40% owned. Maybe a little over-owned right now, but still popular for the day. Santi Aldama at 5,500 needs to fill a role. Keldon Johnson shoots so much more when Victor Wembanyama is out. He looks interesting at 5,200. The Unicornet, Luke Cornett is here at 5,400. He's the starting center for the Spurs. And Luke Cornett's good. He should get real minutes. He's 20% owned. That's all very reasonable. I didn't even mention guys like Jeremy Sohan, Coward, Vassell, Barnes, KCP, Jaren Jackson Jr. without Bane, without Ja. I know I'm mentioning Bane, but you know what I mean? Like 8K Jaren Jackson Jr. on a DraftKings 4-game slate with those guys out. He's 4% owned. Is he going to wake up, just start dropping 30% usage bombs on these people soon? Doesn't have to deal with Wemby. I like this spot for Jaren Jackson Jr. in GPPs. And if you're playing on FanDuel, you get Jaren Jackson Jr. like that because he is 6,600 and power forward center eligible. So he's 35% owned, 27% optimal. Sure, that's negative leverage. He still looks exceptional. Fox, same sitch, 35% owned. I talked about Vince Williams. I talked about Champagne. All these thoughts sound the same. Vassell looks a little bit better on FanDuel. He's 25% owned here. Keldon Johnson's right here. Luke Cornett, center only. Just FanDuel, still getting 13%. And you still have those same flyers, your cowards. Aldama less popular here, but Barnes, KCP. I don't want a $5,800 Zach Edey right now, but if you're ever going to do it, this seems like an interesting spot without Victor Wembanyama around. There's a lot to like in this game because of the current injury status, and you're going to have a lot of it, regardless of the site you're on. Now let's close it out with FanDuel. Final two games, late night hammers, Jazz Lakers, 12-point game. We don't know what's going to be happening with the Lakers, but we could be seeing LeBron James, and it seems like we'll see LeBron James today. Probably not playing as much as you would expect. Gabe Vincent, also questionable for this one. Utah's got to see a questionable bench dudes, Taylor Hendricks, Filipowski, somebody else that's not all that relevant. We're not seeing a ton of ownership right now on the FanDuel side, and I'm not surprised. If LeBron is back, you have to integrate LeBron James to a team that has played all of their games without LeBron James. So Luka at 12.5, still 15% owned because he's Luka, but that's scary. Reeves is 8,600. He's still 10% owned, but it's scary. If you want to get to anything here, a 10% owned Keontae George or Lauri Markkanen, if you're believers in Utah in this game, you think this stays competitive, those are the guys that I want. I probably don't want too much else, and I certainly don't need to get involved in the Nurkic versus Ayton scenario here at two unowned centers, but you certainly wouldn't be surprised if either one of them did something crazy against the other. We've got a couple missing bodies for this final game, Phoenix and Portland. This line is 2.5 right now, 236 total. Drew Holiday is doubtful for this one. We already don't have Jalen Green on the Phoenix side. We don't have Grayson Allen either. Jeremy Grant should be starting here. About 35% owned on FanDuel. Makes perfect sense. He's underpriced for the role. Small forward, power forward eligibility as well. Shaedon Sharpe should see a couple extra minutes with no Drew Holiday around. There's just more minutes to go around, more creation for him. So he's 35% owned. Denny gets a boost from Drew not being around. Devin Booker's 25% owned because he's Devin Booker. That's just how this one works. And then you get this sea of 15% owned guys. Dylan Brooks, Mark Williams, Colin Gillespie, Tumani Kamara. I like Kamara more out of the bunch. He's just going to be out there a ton. And some days he's going to have like disproportionate steal days. This feels like that could be one on the late night hammer edition. Gillespie as well at 5,100 just plays a bunch off the bench. And you could work your way through some of those more extended guys. But this is an outlook for FanDuel. They've got these final two games. We've worked our way through this slate, and this is where we stand for right now. But we've got the deeper dive later tonight at 5 p.m. to work through every one of these games again and then some. Plus, live before lock from 6 to 7. We will set you guys up perfectly throughout this day. And I have my starting 5 video where I simulate some lineups with my 5 favorite plays, one for each position. Check all of that out. Sign up for Stokastic at the link in the description. You'd be crazy not to do it. It's just too good of a deal. You get the Sims for free for a month. I'll see you guys later.